Hey guys, this is Fan Confessions, the channel about two friends, two fans, and the K-Wave. I'm Stephanie,
I'm Lisa.
and welcome to the place where we share our love of all things K-pop, K-drama, and our personal experiences as fans.
Well, here we are, episode 4 of Lovers of the Red Sky, everyone.
Yes, we're ready. So when we left off, we were kind of on the fence a little bit about this one. Not that we're going to stop it, but it's just not like we're watching the other one. We're like super invested in this one. Is like touch and go a little bit in parts, but I think it's something a little more exciting.
I think so too. Like we are both very much agreed that we are really enjoying the two lead characters. Mm-hmm. Some of the side stuff is yet to really like grab us.
Yeah.
So like that's what we're struggling with right now. I don't know about the rest of you out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's
the special effects a little bit and the story. Like the story's good, but it's like also a little convoluted at times, but we're getting there. I feel better about it than I did it was a little more confusing in the first couple episodes, and I feel much more like knowledgeable what's happening, I guess, now.
Yeah, and Steph promised that she wouldn't try to watch it when she's tired anymore.
I don't know if I kept this promise 100%. As always, I watch it after work, and sometimes my brain is mush, and just like a normal typical person that likes to put things off, I do tend to watch it later in the day sometimes. So I apologize, but that is why Lisa is here, because Lisa adores this kind of genre and she is so synced into it, and I can ask those dumb questions and she can fill me in and hopefully fill in other people if they weren't like so laser focused on what was happening.
That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help.
And so I apologize in advance if I have any really silly questions, because but you know what? Sometimes I wonder if it was because I was tired, but there definitely was, I can't remember which part, it might like stand out to me when I do the notes, but I definitely had to pause and rewind at certain point.
Oh yeah.
To process what just happened, or like what, like sometimes I get a little lost in translation with things going on. I'm either distracted by too much of what's going on the screen, that I'm not following the subtitles well enough, or something, or I've got a husband that's talking in my ear and I'm like, I need to pay attention right now. Distractions are not, so this show is not as easy to digest with distractions in the room, is what I will say. It's something you got to be paying attention to fully grasp what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of little like nuances and little like tidbits that if you are not paying close enough attention, they like zip by and you completely miss them.
And so, it could be a big important thing and you didn't really think it would have been.
Oh yeah. 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 There's a lot of little fun little bits that they like stick in the earlier parts that like end up having big meaning later on. So this is why we love fantasy genres, because they're very like minutia.
Yes. So that's a good point. So if you're a person that loves that, then this is like for you. But if you're a person that likes something more casual that you can watch with ease and kind of veg out to a little bit and not have to be using your brain as much. I like those sometimes.
Don't we all? We all like those sometimes.
But this is not the show for you though, if you really want that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I would say. So anyway. Now that we've processed that, I think we can start digging into episode 4. All right, so I think we left off wondering, or we were trying to guess if he was going to reveal who he was, if Harem was going to reveal who he was.
And he doesn't.
I told you he wouldn't. I was like, this is too good of a plot thing for them to, like, it's going to come out later at a very opportune moment, and it's going to either be romantic or some sort of gesture, or do the opposite effect. Sometimes it comes out, it's like, why did you tell me?
Well, exactly, but at least I will say that at the very least, he didn't lie and make up some weird story about who he was. He didn't hide. He didn't pretend to be somebody else. So at the very least, he did not pretend to be somebody else. He just didn't provide his name after he asked for hers, which I think is very strange. But apparently that's how it works in Joseon area.
But I think
just, don't introduce yourself.
I feel like she does know what his name is at some point, or generally his position or something.
Yeah, she knows his position. She doesn't know his actual name. And why did she ask?
But then I feel like, I don't know, I'll have to go back and look at the tape. But I'm like, I feel like he could have said her name, but why I feel like she wouldn't recognize him with the name though, is they said that she lost her memory back when she got her vision. I wrote that down in my notes. Hey, I got something you did, Lisa.
Points for Steph.
I wasn't so tired.
I did miss that part. So I like that you brought that up.
I wrote this down. I did, because I said I was so shocked with him because I was frustrated because he's trying to recall based off the names. Can it be her? Can it be the same one? Which I'm like, how many of those girls with that name exist? First of all. Second of all, like the memories he's going back, I'm like, who else could it be?
Well, he's like, because he's like, she can see.
Yeah,
the one I knew was blind.
He doesn't understand.
So he's just a little like unsure of things right now, I think.
Yes. So in that same instance, there was like something like another. It was like a flashback of somebody or a villager person saying that, she had lost her memory at a young age.
Oh.
So
I completely missed that.
So my thought was that, okay, she fell into the water as well, right? When the vision thing was happening. And when she comes out of the water and she gains her vision back, that she has forgotten the meeting between them. Because she does ask, like, there's been no moment of her remembering this in the drama when she's older. Like, the way.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet, at least. So maybe you're right. There was some residualness that, like, even if she hasn't lost her memory completely, like, a lot of patches and stuff like that. There's like there's holes in the memory and holes
like maybe
for
it's
her to
a
get
traumatic
the whole
incident, and that she's just forgotten those moments. And so that's where I'm like, now I'm for sure believing that it's going to come out at a moment where she's going to remember it all. That's going to.
Oh yeah, totally. It's going to be this whole epiphany, like wash over of memory, probably.
Yes, exactly. And then
I am proud of you for picking that up.
I'm not really proud that I had this, and I know I'm not lying because it's in my notes, so it must happen.
It's like I specifically wrote this down.
It's, so that was fresh when I watched it. What else was I gonna say? And then we kind of also find out that the evil shaman lady didn't know that the demon was inside her until now.
Yeah, apparently they're like, so they're seeing like the little bit of like her and like the nasty prince were in their search for Haram with the guards. They come across the little painter's hut where him and Chunky were hanging out and they're overhearing their conversation. And of course, and like at first I thought it was strange that the shaman lady would be like, no, let's watch a bit long.
Yeah.
But like it really surprised me when we found out that she like just clued in.
Yeah, me too. I was like, you didn't know this? Because
like the way they were acting before, the way they were acting before made it seem like they kind of already knew.
Yeah. See, this is the side of the story and the whole drama I think that's losing me a little bit, is the evil powers that be are like, I'm like, do they know what's happening? Like,
I don't know, because they seem to me like pretty clueless.
Yeah, and I'm missing that really good villain situation in this drama so far.
Yeah, I want
like that would take
more like a decent bad guy, please.
Yeah, I want one that's like I don't know, like Flower of Evil good. Bad guy.
I don't know, because you were quite impressed with Flower of Evil.
Anybody who has not seen this drama, watch this drama. I don't care if you watch K-drama or not. Flower of Evil, people. Amazing. Anyway, but there's so many good villains in K-dramas there's some really bad like bad as in just not good villains, like
no, exactly,
horrible,
they're just like
cringy
cheesy
villains.
yeah.
Then there's like some like in betweens, and then there's like awesome ones. And if this had an awesome villain in it, I feel like it would have just shot this maybe a little higher on my list.
Yeah, because this
they're
like
so mediocre. I'm like, eh.
yeah, I know, like Bad Prince and Shaman Lady are not winning bad guy points. They're kind of a little lackluster. I will like 100% agree with you on that.
They're too in the background. I'm like, I don't understand what they're doing, what their motives are really at this point any further. I just
yeah, like, and they're like we said before, they were acting like they kind of like had a suspicion about Haram, but now it's just like complete surprise to them, and like
yeah, that I found a little surprising and unbelievable somehow. But
yeah, exactly. It didn't seem like maybe they should have like they read too far ahead in the script before and they were like playing things up,
like their ability to just know like how they're at the right place at the right time to hear that, to see this too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how anyway, I just, it feels like a missing link somehow in it.
And the fact that Shaman Lady didn't realize that Haram was like her arch enemy's son and the kid that she tried to sacrifice before.
Yeah, that's true too, because even the king knew.
Well, yeah, because the king purposely brought him into the palace, right? So you would think like, even though Shaman Lady has been sort of like kicked out, like she seems to like she's like got her ear to the ground a bit, but like obviously not well enough. She didn't catch that little tidbit.
No, because his name didn't change either, right?
No, of course not.
Okay, this is why I guess these are the things that poke holes in it. So it's like that, and then also with Haram's second identity, how nobody has made the connection either. That
I know
it was kind of weird to me. I'm
especially
like,
last episode.
That good of a job of protecting it. Like
I know. It's just it's a little
Anyway, so let's move on from that because we could talk about that part.
So yes, bit. We can go on about that in the silliness there. But
so the second male lead, I guess we could talk. He starred to the third prince comes in.
I know that was a fun situation. So I was right in the fact last episode where I thought they would be able to have their little bit of a connection, the third prince and Chung-gi, and I got some points there. So they were really cute. He's like, of course, like he borrowed one of the guards' cloaks after his got ripped, right? So he's not looking as princely as he would.
See, I mixed that up. That's why I was like, why is she insulting him to his face like she doesn't know who he is? I see it there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's being like Mr. like over flourished, and I am Prince so and so, and she's like, you're right.
I like her her ability to just be so like oblivious of what is actually happening, and just like her mouth is a little too smart in some way.
She gets the one-liners out a little too quick and ends up like shooting herself in the foot.
Yeah. I always find that charming about a female lead whenever they're like that. They're a little snarky. It's amazing. Because when they get humbled, it's really good too.
Exactly. And like she's kind enough to know, she's like polite enough to be embarrassed after she realizes that he is who he says he is. When Haram greets him and says, like, "Oh, my prince," and blah blah blah, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she literally runs away and hides.
Yes. Well, and man, so she is like already wanting to protect this man because she was just willing to straight up be like, nope,
he's not here.
And meanwhile, he's like, hey, he just outs himself, no problem. So,
oh yeah, exactly. So that was
interesting.
That was a cute situation right there.
Yeah,
but it's so funny, but when the prince like meets her, he's just sort of like dazzled by her.
Yeah. And how like his he like enjoys the sassiness, of course, right?
He does enjoy a sassy woman. So what points for third prince for enjoying strong female characters?
Yeah, his character I'm still too processing. He's a little more like goofier than I imagined. Like he's a little out there, which I guess it sort of matches because his character as a kid too was a little bit funny. So it's interesting, I guess, to see this type of character. And then I guess Haram is so much more like reserved.
Yeah, exactly. But you never know, because like when you have a bit of a sillier character, when they get serious, it can get pretty sexy.
Okay, so we already know Lisa is like over the back muscle scene. And on
I'm sorry, no. The back muscle scene is still pretty. There is no second lead syndrome quite yet with me.
But it's forming a little bit.
It is forming. I am appreciating him as a character so far. Though I still think he can be a little over the top, like we were talking about before. But I'm hoping for the best.
No one can beat the dismount of the horse for me.
I know, bodyguard.
Man, right now the bodyguard still has my heart above all.
Yeah. Bodyguard still got a decent crush going on. Bodyguard. Yeah.
It's funny usually that those side characters it'll be like one and done, but I'm like, no, I'm thinking about it now. Leave with the bodyguard. Just seems like a good he'll save you, I think.
Exactly. Bodyguard. He's capable. Yes. He can handle himself.
Okay, so jokes aside, we end up learning a little bit more about the king and what's going to happen with him, and he's wanting somebody to take over his position, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. And obviously, like, Haram comes back to the palace and he meets with the king and he's having a conversation. He's just like this, like, he talks about the owls and what that sort of means. And Haram, yeah, exactly. And Haram's just like, well, no, owls are a good sign. And he's like, I don't know. I think you're trying to silver line it for me.
Maybe. And it's interesting because that's right, we know that Haram has an ulterior motive.
He's got his own agenda, so he's trying to keep.
He could very well, and maybe the king isn't wise. I actually, you know what, I don't mind this king character in the sense of I'm like, I think he's a good king, but he's actually seems to care a lot and try and make the right decisions in a lot of scenarios.
And I know, and it seems because he's like very insistent that the first prince, who apparently doesn't have good health.
I'm like, who is the first prince, by the way?
Yeah, we met him as a teenager, but we haven't seen him at all since.
Yeah, I'm like, when is this reveal gonna happen? How sick is he?
Yeah, exactly. But like, the king is very bound and determined that his first son inherit the throne. And it seems, and they're like, this is probably not the best idea because he's so ill and it'll just leave it wide open for somebody to try and usurp the throne from him if he's not strong enough. And like, Haram says it out loud, which is probably kind of like a dangerous thing to say, being that he's like not like a minister or something like that. And the king's like, you know what? I don't care, because like, I wasn't the first born, my father wasn't the firstborn, and everybody kept questioning our suitability. Yeah. Or like, if we really were meant to be king and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't want that argument, but which I think can be a little bit foolish, because you would think that you'd want the strongest,
most healthy,
not physically, mentally, like somebody who's capable enough to lead the country versus just because they're firstborn.
Well, so then maybe that is telling of the fact that no one knows that the prince is ill.
Well,
they're purposely not.
Only the internal circle, maybe.
Yeah, like that they, like, I would think that they would keep that hush hush as much as possible, right? So, but anyway, it's an interesting whole scenario. I am curious if I'm like, I just want to see who this man is.
No, can we meet this crown prince or not? Like, what's going on?
Talking about, that's where I feel like things are mixed upon. It's like they talked about trying to assassinate him or like make his life, but then you've still never seen him or them trying to do it, which I'm like,
I know.
perfect villain moment to try and see something, but you don't see it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is where we think second prince is kind of missing the boat on the whole bad guy bit. He's not doing his job, right?
Yeah, like where is he in these moments too? Like if I was a writer in this drama or somebody that was like planning a scene out, you would think that the third prince would be overhearing this conversation and be very curious about this, and then be happy that maybe he could get rid of that situation pretty easily. So again, back to the lighter note, we see I guess like she's trying to get into this painting competition and has to deliver the names of all the people in the painting competition, and manages to get her own name on there, of course.
Yeah, after like, because like for some reason the headmaster of her painting academy is not for her getting involved in the painting competition. And like, I don't know if he's really like trying to protect her or like he's worried because of like she accused him of thinking that she's going to go crazy like her father did.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of some hurt feelings there. So she managed to sneak her name on there, and I guess the assistant headmaster was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. You deliver the list yourself, and off she goes.
And she's so terrified because she thinks she's going to have to face the prince that she just like insulted instantly, of course. So she's like in a not so great discussion. She just keeps putting the thing over her head thinking it's going to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay.
She's trying to hide, but like, it's so funny because she goes to, obviously this is the third prince's palace, is where this painting competition is going to be held, obviously. And she like stumbles across Haram, who happens to be waiting for the prince too. So that was a nice little meet cute kind of thing going on.
Well, they're going to have more of those moments, right? Like, I feel like they're going to try and create moments for them to meet. And and then there's the whole scene right after that they're so cute, they have tea. So he kind of convinces her or gets her caught in it and is just like, don't worry about it.
But I have to admit, like, so like she tries to hide because the prince comes along and she's like, oh my God, I can't know. And she, what I love is like when she's trying to like run away from him or like, and like the whole, like when her face is revealed, he has like slow-mo angels singing, oh, she's so beautiful moment. And I'm just like, damn, man's got it bad.
It happened pretty instantaneously, and then Haram's just blind and can't tell what's happening, right?
He can't tell what's happening until like later on when they're having tea, and he's noticing the way like third prince is kind of flirting with her, and he's just like,
right, because he was calling her his wife. He's like, what happens? Because she was saying, oh, like whatever she did was punishable by death or something. And then he's like, oh no, I can't kill you because then I'd kill my wife. Like,
I know, because of her joke last episode. Well, if you're the third prince, then I'm the third prince's consort.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I can't kill you. I'd be killing my consort. I'd be making myself a widower.
Yeah. And he was like, hell no, and spills his tea.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because Haram is just like, no, that's my girl, man.
Yeah, like this is the first moment that he's like acknowledging he doesn't really like that situation. But
he's a little bit of jealousy. It's kind of cute to see.
It's cute to see.
Start of that.
I'm kind of curious with it. Like, so this one is definitely reading to me as it's going to be one of those friendships that are going to be strained because of the situation with the relationship. But then I also wonder, like, because that Haram has ulterior motives, if he's actually friends with the third prince or not.
Yeah, exactly. If he's just like putting up a good front, he's being friendly, but he's using him like sort of the connection as like a way of getting information, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they do feel like they enjoy each other's company to a certain level, but then I find it interesting. So like in my head, does this turn as so like they start to go down this path, and when she finally decides to go with her or whatever, if that's going to turn the third prince's character into from a good guy to maybe a not a bad guy, but maybe like doing something that's not favorable.
Yeah, a little bitter.
Yeah,
it's a little bitter. Yeah,
right. I wonder, because he'll be like, I thought you were my friend, and then you're not. And then if he finds out about the debt, like him going after the king,
yeah,
right. It's like, so it's leading up to be a very good story, but I'm a little concerned if it will actually hit the
play out well. Yeah.
So we'll see, because I feel like I've seen that kind of vibe before, especially, and it reminds me of like Greek tragedies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like you have like friendship and the betrayal of friendship, and
then like how and like, so I really wanted to have that, because it's like those are so good and gritty when that happens, but
exactly, it's like
get to that level.
If they do it well, it'll be like great for the story and everything, but I don't know, like we have some pretty lackluster villains at the moment. I don't know how well they'll be able to develop that bit.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If we had good villains to start with, then I could see a true good guy turning bad and it being amazing. But then now this, I don't know. I feel like it's just, maybe then it'll just be fluff. But I feel like
I'm hoping it's not all fluff.
Yeah,
fingers crossed for not all fluff. We want a little more substance.
I agree. So we will see where that goes. And then so the significance of this contest and her wanting to be involved, and so she wants to be discovered as the divine painter. And so I
think it's a vehicle for her to be discovered, because like everybody's talking about a divine painter, and like they need a divine. They're like, the whole purpose that the king is encouraging this contest every year is to try and find that divine painter, somebody who can recreate that portrait that they'll be able to seal the demon into again.
Right. Yes.
And so I think.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, and maybe I misinterpreted this when I was reading our notes back and like prepping. So are you under the assumption that people know that her dad was the divine painter, or they don't know that he is?
They don't know, because like he's just some crazy guy in the market now, right? So like only so like
crazy. I'm like, how they forget who he was.
Well, I think like the general public, they don't know, and they don't know, like after he did what he was meant to do and he went crazy and like he's off in the market and nobody thinks about him again, because
I guess
higher like royalty is not gonna like worry about some painter guy that they used as a tool.
I suppose so. I guess why I kept wondering this is like, how is she not a shoo-in immediately to be the
considering how skilled she is? I think she, as soon as she gets in the competition, there's no way she's not going to win.
Right. Well, and was it the third prince who's the one that keeps talking about seeing the paintings and wanting to meet the cheeky painter?
The third prince, because he bought a fake painting.
That's right. Okay, so this will come full circle. So yes, he keeps alluding to the fact of wanting to meet this. So funny that you have already met her, and this is
exactly
just you love her more.
I know, exactly. You're just going to be so enamored with her.
Not that you're not already obsessed or anything like that.
Yeah, not at all.
Goodness. Well, all right.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And so like, I think we talked a little more about his revenge plot with like Haram, but yeah, very curious to see how it plays out with the third.
Yeah, because he's like, he seems to be like, my plan starts now, but it's like, it hasn't been really made clear of what his like ultimate like game plan is to bring down the royal family.
To be a good anti-hero either. He hasn't done anything devious or evil to this point either, right? He doesn't like, I don't know. It's coming off to me if he's ever gonna have the guts to do anything.
I know, because it's like a bit of a strange, because he's living like a double life.
Yeah.
And it's like, how well will he be able to like pull off the devious side of him, or if he's gonna like, he's too good to be able to go through with it all.
I don't know. And one thing I was just thinking about too, this is a character I feel like I need more from also. Like, I loved his child actor that played his role, was so good. Like, I loved the children as actors.
Oh yeah, they were so good. I wish they would have some flashbacks just so we can get them a little bit more again, eh?
Yeah, and I felt like they made this drama for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so now that we're like, I think I was expecting more at this point from the rest of the adults. And so the girl is giving it, like the lead actress is giving me it in spades. Like she's fine. And I think the third male lead is fine too, or second male, third male lead. Just the guy on the horse is giving me everything. The third male lead in my head. First male lead in my head. Second male lead is giving me enough. But then I feel like the lead actor is very reserved. And I don't know if that's the character is supposed to be reserved.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm not getting enough from him. Is it just me? Because he has all this built up in him. And
like I've liked him. Yeah, I think it's this episode. Because like in previous episodes, like he's been pretty stellar for me. But this one episode too is kind of like a bit iffy. It hasn't been like the best episode.
I feel like I don't know if it's because of the acting with the blind vision. And he's trying to not like react to things because he shouldn't be seeing it.
Yeah.
If that's it, or if it's the actual character and but like there's just something about it feels a little contrived to me right now. Now that I look back on it, that I'm like, oh, I feel like, especially in the revenge plotting moments and the things like that, I just haven't seen enough of his like motivation.
I do. I want to see more of that because like there's like brief mentions of this plan and stuff like that, but I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
I want to see more of his like plot and stuff like that and like his way of getting revenge against who he deems is like an evil king. And because I have this feel like I don't want it to turn into a situation where he like gets halfway through this stellar plan of his and he realizes the king's a nice guy and he gives everything up.
It very well could go in that direction. It kind of feels like he's already, because it's like almost like to the fact that we don't hate the fact we don't hate the king character is already telling of the fact that he's not quite it's like, because we know it wasn't necessarily the king's fault as to what happened to his dad, right?
Exactly, because like people are making insinuations about like the king like obviously told the guards to do this and such, but it's like I don't know if he really did.
Yeah, so then that's I feel for sure this drama has a lot of plot holes like that where we're losing the to the motivations behind people's actions and what they're saying they're gonna do. So it's not feeling like, I'm comparing this drama a lot for me. It compares to Scarlet Heart. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I've seen the original Chinese version as well as the Korean version.
Yeah, and it has so much depth at the same time. And each character, it's like you could feel their motivations like to the bone, right?
Yeah,
and
that was good.
That's what I feel like he's missing, that because it had the same kind of character with an anti-hero guy in the lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, like I think we need more of that side of him to like strengthen him as a character. Because it's like, especially this episode, I don't know if like maybe episode 5 will redeem him a bit more, but it feels like episode 4 was a bit of
Well, it feels like just now that I'm like recapping it all and we're talking about it, not a lot has happened this episode.
I know,
right?
A lot and not a lot.
Yeah. So it's like more development of the leads together and seeing them together, which is good.
A little bit sort of like, it's like a builder episode for future events.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to like, they can't like just have a painting competition without like sort of explaining like the basis of it, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it's like because we came off such a like crazy episode too with him being the demon and the the lady with the lion lady from the like, it was just like so much more action and things happening, and then this episode there was like no action.
Yeah, I think this episode was a bit of a downer. and I'm hoping that like episode 5 will like perk up a bit more to like help the story.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just like I think this episode in general, like there is like a few fun moments, some like characters meeting, and little like things that will push the story forward in the future. But all together, it was a bit meh.
Agreed. And so capping off the episode, then this was another thing to it. Like, where did this guy come from? There's this green-eyed man.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember seeing him like, oh my gosh. Okay, so our girl is locked up in the Shed of Truth, where she apparently visits quite often for getting into trouble.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So she's locked in there.
Yeah.
And because like headmaster doesn't want her to attend the painting competition. But this like weird dude with the green glowy eyes comes in saying like, I commissioned this painting or whatever, and I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. But he's the same, because like in the very first episode, when her father was painting the painting to steal the demon, there was another guy beside him. So they both get like knocked out by demon energy. And I could have sworn this guy died, but he gets filled in with like another energy. And like reanimates.
Oh.
And that's the same guy.
Okay. For some reason I thought that was her dad. I got really mixed up in that.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, exactly.
That makes a lot more sense. I remember the scene that you're talking about now.
Yeah. So her dad gets knocked out and goes like demon like PTSD.
Okay.
And then the dude that was working with him gets all green and glowy and walks out of the place.
Right.
In the middle of it all. And then he comes back saying like trying to help. I don't know. So like I don't know what his deal is. And like
these are again, why this guy out of the blue, and like easy to not remember where he came from or what is going on, right?
So I have a little theory about him.
Okay.
So in the beginning of the story, they have that narration explaining how Samshin was the 3 gods in one.
Oh, okay.
And the demon is the god of like death, and Samshin's the god of life, and then there was the god of balance. So I'm like, maybe I'm going way off on a limb, but I'm thinking the greeny guy, possessed guy, is maybe like possessed by the god of balance.
Maybe. He does seem kind of evil, but I don't know. I don't know.
He's with the beard. The beard, the weird beard and the facial hair.
And the eyes. I don't know. It was a whole vibe. I don't know. I have no idea what to take of that. This was the part that I was kind of confused about at the very end.
So we had a bit of like a not too exciting episode, and then it ends. It ends with this little tidbit.
Yeah, which we don't know. Besides the fact, we know the girl's gonna enter the competition. I feel like there's no way she's not gonna get in the competition, and the second male lead's gonna totally recognize that it's her and be like, "Oh my god, I love you even more." That's my prediction, anyways.
Exactly. And then other eyes are gonna be on her for not just like they're gonna be like, "Oh, like." I could see Shaman Lady being all like intrigued with her and wanting to get up in there and like cause some trouble.
Oh, you know what? I have another theory that is building in my brain also.
Ooh, do tell.
So because like when she would touch him and whatever, it you notice it happened again this episode. They had a
this time
and the seal's starting to break again. So then I was wondering if the other two started getting closer, her and the second male lead, if his jealousy is what brings out the rage and the bad side of him more. And maybe that might come out at some point.
That's an interesting little bit. I like that little
like less so much the second male lead turning, but maybe him getting more deep within his, I don't know.
Or maybe like
I don't know.
weakening the seal kind of thing.
I feel sad because I'm like, these sound like really interesting ideas, but at the same time, my reality is like the likelihood is maybe not that high. But
I know. We don't have a lot of faith
for it. I want to have more faith for it. I'd still hold on. So I wouldn't quit at this point. I would still go. I just I hope it gets better, I guess.
Yeah, I'm hoping episode 5 and 6, like especially 5, improves much more, because like we were saying before, episode 4 is a bit meh, but we have enough interest in the story to see how it goes a little longer.
Like I enjoy the female lead enough, and this like the interactions they had were cute enough, but I'm like, okay, I could see more of that and I won't be upset with it. And maybe start to understand a little bit more about what's going on with these people.
I know, exactly, because I had the gist of it, but it's just like
you gotta get your fingers in there somehow.
Exactly. They gotta sweeten things up.
Okay, so that was our thoughts on episode 4. I'm curious to see if anyone else is feeling the same way. Like, have you fallen out of love with the series? Are you continuing it? Are you dropping it? Are you excited about what's happening? And did you understand what was with the green eyes and the guy, and have unlocked a whole theory that we are not catching on to? I would be very curious if someone has a different idea on what's going to happen in the next episode.
Yeah, I'm all ready for some like crazy out there little Easter eggs that you found that we may have missed. So like throw them at us.
Yeah, and I will say what I do like about this is it's more fun to talk about theories and ideas about where the story's gonna go, because it has a lot more possibilities than a lot of other dramas do. So I think that's kind of fun in the sense of what we can talk about. So I do look forward to talking about this drama, even though it's not necessarily on the same level as Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, which we're also watching, but very different genre. So, but again, thank you for tuning in and watching us. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button and share your comments below, because it means the world to us a million times over.
Thank you. We love you.